She stood on my porch like she owned the place, sunglasses pushed up on her head, waving a stack of papers that looked like they came straight out of a cheap printer. "This cabin is reserved for me this weekend," she said, loud enough for the birds in the trees to scatter. I didn't even bother taking the papers from her hand. "This is my land," I told her flat. "No one can reserve it." Her jaw tightened. She slapped the papers against my chest. "Don't play games with me. I'm the HOA president, and I already approved this. Either you leave quietly, or I'll make a call you won't like." I almost laughed. There was no HOA here. This was open country, surrounded by acres my father bought decades ago. But she wasn't bluffing for long. Her phone was already in her hand, nails clicking on the screen. "Hello? Yes, police? I have a trespasser refusing to vacate my property," she said, her voice sharp and dripping with fake panic. "What?" My stomach twisted, not from fear, but from the absurdity of watching a stranger claim my cabin as hers. Still, I stayed calm. I knew something she didn't. She thought she was calling backup on me. But the second those sirens rolled in, it wouldn't be me answering questions. Because when the cops arrived, they wouldn't just see a trespasser, they'd see the legal owner of the valley. And Karen, she had no idea the mess she was walking into. The wail of sirens cut through the still air, bouncing off the pine trees like a warning bell. Karen folded her arms with a smug grin, already rehearsing her little victory speech in her head. "You're done," she whispered at me, almost. Giddy. Two squad cars pulled up on the dirt road, tires crunching against gravel. The deputies stepped out, scanning the scene. Karen rushed toward them, pointing dramatically at me. "That's him. He broke in. He's refusing to leave my rental cabin. Arrest him now." One deputy raised his brow, looking from her to me. I stayed where I was, calm, hands at my sides. "Sir, do you have any ID?" he asked. Before I could even answer, Karen jumped in again. "Don't believe a word he says. He's lying. I'm the president of the HOA. I have all the paperwork right here." She shoved her flimsy printouts into the deputy's hands. The officer glanced over them, frowning. "This looks like something you typed up yourself," he muttered. Her face turned red. "Excuse me? Do you know who I am?" That's when I finally stepped forward and pulled a folded document from my jacket proof of ownership, signed and recorded years ago. The deputy's eyes flicked over it, then back at me. "So, you're the legal owner?" Karen's smirk shattered in. An instant. No, he's lying. He forged that. He's dangerous." She shrieked, reaching for one deputy's arm as if to convince him. But what she didn't know was about to hit harder than sirens and paperwork combined. Because those weren't just any deputies standing there. They were the same men who had worked under me when I wore the badge, and by the way, one of them smirked at me. Karen's meltdown was about to explode into something she never saw coming. Karen's voice rose higher, almost cracking as she waved her hands wildly. "You're not listening. He's dangerous. He threatened me. You need to take him away right now." She was practically stomping the dirt like a child throwing a tantrum. The deputy she grabbed pulled his arm free and said flatly, "Ma'am, step back." His tone was sharp enough to freeze her mid-rant. She blinked, stunned, then tried to recover. "I'm the HOA president. That cabin falls under our jurisdiction. I have the authority to. I couldn't help it." I actually chuckled. That small laugh made her snap her head toward me, eyes blazing. "What's so funny?" she barked. "Jurisdiction?" I said quietly. "You're standing in the middle of privately deeded land that's been in my family for decades. There's no HOA out here." The deputy holding my ownership papers glanced up at her. "Ma'am, his name's right here on the deed, county stamp and all. This is legitimate." Karen's face drained of color, then flushed crimson again. She stammered, That can't be right. He must have tricked you. He's not who he says he is." The second deputy turned, giving her a look that made it clear he'd had enough. "Funny thing, ma'am, I do know who he is." His lips curled into a half-smile, 'cause I used to call him Sheriff. Her mouth fell open. For a moment, the only sound was the wind moving through the trees. She spun back toward me, eyes darting as if she was seeing me for the first time. "Sheriff," she whispered, her voice suddenly smaller. I didn't answer. I just stood there, letting the silence press down. Because in that moment she realized this wasn't going to end the way she imagined, and what she did next proved just how unhinged she really was. Karen's shock lasted only a breath before it twisted back into fury. No, this is wrong. She screamed, jabbing a finger at me. He's lying. He probably tricked you deputies into covering for him. You don't know what he's capable of. The deputies didn't move, just watched her unravel. That silence made her panic worse. She tore the fake papers back out of the deputies' hands, crumpling them as she ranted. This whole valley should belong to the HOA. People like him ruin communities. They don't follow rules. They think they're above everyone else. Her words echoed across the clearing, but instead of authority, all I heard was desperation. Then she did something reckless. She marched right up my porch steps and shoved my cabin door, trying to force her way inside. The deputy shouted, "Ma'am, step back. It's breaking and entering." But Karen didn't stop. She was clawing at the doorknob, shrieking, "This is my weekend house. I booked it. He can't live. Here he can't." I walked forward slowly, calm but sharp. "You've just admitted to trying to take over property you don't own. In front of 2 deputies and a recording body cam?" She froze for half a second, then whipped around to me, face red, eyes wild.
You think you've won?
"I'll make sure you regret ever crossing me." Her voice dropped into a hiss. "If the police won't drag you out, I'll find someone who will." The deputies exchanged a glance, one muttering under his breath that sounded like a threat. But I already knew Karen wasn't done. She had another move waiting, something louder and far more dangerous. Karen backed off the porch, chest heaving, eyes darting like she was already plotting her next stunt. She yanked out her phone again, hands trembling but voice sharp. "If you won't protect me," she snapped at the deputies, "then I'll call in real security. People who actually do their job." One deputy stepped forward. "Ma'am, I'm warning you, making threats and filing false reports can land you in serious trouble." But she just smirked, dialing fast. "You think I'm bluffing? You'll see." I could hear the faint ring on speaker, then a gruff voice. Answered, "HOA enforcement." "What's the issue?" Her tone shifted, instantly sweet. Panicked, fake tears in her voice. "It's urgent. I'm being harassed at my property by a violent squatter. I need backup now." My stomach tightened. HOA enforcement. I knew right away that wasn't real law. Those were hired muscle, private thugs playing dress up. I'd seen this trick before. The deputies glanced at each other uneasily. One muttered, "There's no HOA here." What the hell is she calling? Karen ended the call and shot me a triumphant look, chin raised high. "You think you're safe because you've got some dusty paperwork and old buddies in uniform? Until my team shows up, you'll be begging me for mercy." Stared at her, calm but cold. "Karen, you just called the wrong people to the wrong property, because I knew the kind of men who'd show up after a call like that, and when they rolled in, things were going to explode fast.